What's up, gangsters? It's Dominic D'Angelo of adfreeshows.com. It's SEScoops.com as well. But I'm here today, Rumor and Innuendo. It's a Thursday. And guess what? Robert Karpelis is here, WE Creative _ish. Robert, happy Thursday to you.
Happy Thursday. I apologize for Dom calling you all gangsters. Some of you may be DeBaldies.
That's true.
It's ECW. Anyway, welcome to the show. We'll say a couple quick shout-outs here. Antonio Santos says, happy Thursday, fellas. Anyone hungry for strawberry jam after last night? And Joseph Wade Walters, morning, gentlemen. That's the red viscous liquid gets off on the second floor. That is a brilliant Simpsons reference. Ironically enough, 44 years ago today, The Shining came out.
No way.
Just saw that on the X gimmick. 44 years ago today, and we got a little bit of an homage to it last night on AEW Dynamite. We got a lot of stuff to talk about here today, Dom.
Yeah, we have Dynamite obviously to cover, and then some late breaking news that kind of happened this morning. So we'll touch upon that. We'll touch upon so a little bit of the Undertaker and the TKO live events announcement too going down. But Robert,
I have no idea what breaking news. So fun peek behind the curtain here. We just finished recording Working Stiff with Dan St. Germain, Scott Chaplin, and myself. Were on this morning. And Dom was on to start the show, and then he hopped off. So clearly, while he was off doing other things, he found other exciting news for us to talk about, Dom. But you are the captain of this ship, man. I am just a mere passenger on this Heart of Darkness like vessel. So where are we starting with today?
Yes. Let's start with AEW Dynamite and the Go Home episode of Dynamite, nonetheless, for Double or Nothing this weekend. Quite the developments that went down. Some very schmozzy stuff, I would say, overall with Dynamite. Robert, let's just get your overall thoughts on the program itself, starting off.
Very schmozzy episode of Dynamite. That's quite the term there. Boy, they reached into the old WWE bag of tricks in a number of instances on this show. If you like wacky props, if you like giants, if you like HLA, if you like red viscous liquid, this was a Russo-esque episode of Dynamite. So I don't know where I'm a chronology guy. I like to go in sequential order. On the high levels here, Orange Cassidy and Ospreay versus Trent and Roderick Strong. No pun intended. Very strong opening tag match. Yes. Ospreay, man, that dude is a star. We got blood. We got Wardlow interference. Forgot Wardlow was even there. Don Callis on commentary to further the Ospreay Orange Cassidy story that he's out recruiting Orange, that Ospreay is part of the Don Callis family. You're risking a little bit giving away as much as you've given with these guys. I've seen a lot of great spots with Roderick Strong and Will Ospreay. I'm sure they will come up with more at the pay-per-view on Sunday. Orange Cassidy and Trent, we've now seen a couple times. This was a very solid back-and-forth match. The heels got the win. You move forward 2 stories. This was straightforward, old WWE-style booking. You had 2 feuds. You merged them together. You tenuously made it make sense because of the Don Callis stuff. You told some stories. Everybody was happy.
Yeah, I liked it. I thought it furthered things along, and Ospreay looks like a star. I love the dynamic between him and Orange Cassidy. Even the simple aspects of it, like Ospreay looking out for his tag team partner, like during the tease pile driver spot yet again. Ospreay made the save, and it's just good kind of synergy. Good for the baby faces, gets the heels over by getting the win, and sets them up nicely, I think, for the pay-per-view. So I'm with you on that one, Robert. I liked it. I was a big fan.
I agree. We got a segment with Bullet Club Gold cutting a promo in the ring to introduce Pac and the Death Triangle as their challengers. I like Jay White. He has grown on me. However, this promo did not connect with the audience. And due to the way this was mic'd, due to the way it was configured, You didn't hear much of the crowd. You heard one guy who yelled my quote of the week, where he just yells out loud, "Who wrote this?" He had a word after that, but we don't use it. We're a family-friendly show
That's
here on Rumor and Innuendo. We say the full word on Working Stiff. But I felt bad. That was, talk to the audience. That's always grim death. And that's kind of what we got here. The fan yelling that out is my hero. Bless your heart. Because Jay White's a charismatic guy, and they just left him out there to die. And now we've got Death Triangle back, which, if they meant something of late, this would be a cool return. Instead, it's a match set up for the pay-per-view a few days in advance. And Pac is a very talented guy that we're kind of conditioned to not care.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm with you. I think I love Penta and Phoenix being back. They should be a big deal. It feels like Death Triangle's awesome together, and I think it's cool that they're in a kind of like a babyface realm of this. But to your point, it's just like, how too little too late is this? It's like you're just having a few day window in between them returning and having a pay-per-view match, where there should have been more of a build, I think, to these guys getting back together and things like that. And then on top of it, it's like you kind of wanted Penta and Phoenix and Pac, for that matter, to be in different positions already in AEW, where they're like in a high profile program, maybe a singles program, or maybe vying for those tag team championships or something that feels like a bigger deal. And they should be feeling like a bigger deal at this juncture. Here, it's cool that they're back, and it's pretty exciting that, hey, this is a nice added match to Double or Nothing. But it kind of makes you reflect on, hey, look at where they should be right now in comparison.
And there's a lot of trios that could be going after this. A lot of hot trios that they've built up, like the LWO, Legado del Fantasma, Judgment Day, the Authors of Pain and Carrying Cross. A lot of really strong 6-man groups that can be going. Oh wait, no, that's the other company. Crap. Yeah, this is like weird. It's like the Acclaimed are floating in space, like on that pane of glass, like at the end of Superman 2. Yeah. I don't know where they are. They're just gone. And if we cared about the 6-man tag titles or the trios titles, then sure. I think the match, when they have it at the pay-per-view, is going to be great. It didn't have a huge reveal. It didn't have a big epic moment. It just kind of felt like something that happened. Something else that happened, we talked about our good friend Brian Keith.
Yes.
Whom you are a huge Brian Keith fan.
I like Brian Keith. I do like very Red Dead Redemption vibes, so I'm all for cowboys, westerns, anything like that. So
Dom, I was joking.
I know
I was
you were, but I do like Brian Keith, though.
I like you just bought into the gimmick. You're like, no, I do like Brian Keith.
I do.
You said yesterday astutely Brian Keith was in the match to take the pin, and you were wrong. Brian Keith was made to submit by both guys at the same time. I don't know what Brian Keith did to Tony Khan, but that was rough. So now we're getting a Hook versus Shibata versus Jericho at the pay-per-view. We had Jericho on commentary for this match. So yikes.
I did not
be the contrarian. Be the contrarian. Disagree with me.
I think I thought going into it there was like some good stuff. I think the dynamic between Jericho and Big Bill is good. I think it's healthy for both of them, actually, because it takes some of the heat off of Jericho. And then Big Bill can kind of embrace that, like, different kind of big man, I think, in a certain way. But the ending of this match was so freaking dumb. I almost swore. It was so awful. Like, the double tap out of super unnecessary. And it just doesn't make Brian Keith look good, and it's just a stupid setup for the match. Like, it seems shoehorned in, and it's dumb. I did not like this, Robert.
Well, I think what they realized was at the last pay-per-view, Hook versus Chris Jericho was rough. Mm-hmm. That was not an ideal match, so they need a safeguard, and that's Shibata. But there had to be a better way to get to it than this.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Felt bad for Brian Keith. Yeah. Didn't feel as bad for Matt Sydal getting squashed by Takeshita, just because he's good at making other guys look good. Mm-hmm. They're not going to suddenly elevate Sydal. I would have liked to have seen a little bit of a follow-up with Sydal being sad about the fact that Christopher Daniels got fired.
Yeah.
But, that's expecting a little too much from good old TK. Swerve and Nick Wayne. I said yesterday I thought it was going to be a very good match, and it delivered.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fun match. They obviously they know each other. They gel really, really well. And then you had the post-match stuff with Killswitch and Christian, where I will praise AEW for this. From a production end, it is very tough to get from in-ring seamlessly to backstage, seamlessly to outside, where there was a car waiting that Christian steals, pulls off, gets cut off by another car. You get the attack with Swerve, and then Christian escaping. It was blocked perfectly. It was shot beautifully. It was effective. It was a reveal that made absolutely no sense whatsoever, because that would mean we're playing like 40 chess here. That Swerve knew that Christian was going to steal a car and that Nana would be waiting just in case to pull up. But who cares? It was fun. I dug it.
I did too. I was concerned at first after Swerve got the win when what's his new name? Killswitch lariated him from behind. I was
What's his new name?
What's his new name? And
Don't change.
I was like, are they
Don't
gonna
ever change them?
Are they gonna make Swerve look like an idiot again? But no, I think they did a very good job. And really set it up, I think, well, again, almost like the opening match did for the two matches that they're going to have. I thought they set this world title match up pretty well for all things considered.
It feels like a fine storyline, a fine feud. It does not feel like it's the main event of the show.
Right.
It feels like this is for the international title or the continental title or the TNT title or the IWGP light heavyweight title. Or the Ring of Honor. They merged and unmerged all these titles. So they have a lot. The FTW title. A lot of titles. This is just one of them. It was well told. Again, it sounds like it's damning it with vain praise. It feels like mid-2000s WWE.
Right. It does.
During the time where a lot of people were not watching, where I was suffering through like 2009, 2012 level WWE. The booking made sense. It was logical. It was fine.
Yeah, no, I thought it was okay for what it was too. I agree, Robert. I think good setup, everything like that. But yeah, you want things to be set up for the pay-per-view, and I think they did a pretty good job so far on the show at this juncture.
Yeah, I think it'll work. Malachi Black and Kyle O'Reilly was a very solid match. I'm glad that they went with a straight finish. Mm-hmm. We didn't get any outside interference because you were telling the story that Malachi Black can wrestle and beat someone without needing all the spooky nonsense. And then, Dom, when the match was over, we got some spooky nonsense.
We did.
The lights turned red, and Edge gave a bloodbath to Malachi Black. The Brood is back. So, the bloodbath itself.
Okay.
It looked intense.
Yes.
It was whatever red viscous liquid they used. I used this analogy on Working Stiff. So if you listen to this and listen to that, pretend to be shocked on that. I don't know if you watched the TV show The Boys.
No, but
there's an episode of The Boys where they blow up a whale. And you just see this just guts and everything raining down. And that's what this looked like here. So in terms of what the bloodbath should look like, dang. In terms of effectiveness, I don't want to see Spooky Edge. I also don't want to see WWE Continuity Edge. It didn't make me more excited for the match. It was Tony checking something off of his bucket list.
What makes you concerned for that? That going with Spooky Edge and WWE Continuity Edge. I don't like where you're using something from another company because it's like, no, you let you guys stand up on their own 2 feet. Spooky Edge is what we got when he founded Judgment Day. Uh-huh.
And it did not work. I hated Judgment Day when it first started out. The Edge iteration of it didn't feel genuine. It didn't feel real. It felt very performative. It felt like a guy going through a midlife crisis. Didn't like any of it.
Real quick though, how much of that do you think was on Edge himself, and how much was it on the Vince McMahon booking at the time?
As soon as Edge was out of the group became successful.
No, not really. They kind of struggled still, right?
No, when they got Finn in place and they were rolling with that, Judgment Day found its groove. Edge was, and I'm a huge fan of Edge. I loved working with Edge. I think Edge is fantastic. He did not work in the confines of Judgment Day, and he wanted it to go in a more supernatural direction. And he had a lot of control over what that storyline was. So I didn't love that. This is weird that he now has magical powers, because I like that he has been Adam Copeland, grizzled veteran, who's back to, show these whippersnappers how it's done, not dude who makes it rain.
See, I will be a contrarian on this.
Do it.
I liked it. I really liked
fired
it.
Up. Of course you liked it.
I like the ass. I do love the schmoz and that kind of, hokey pokey kind of stuff. When it comes to it tying in with Malachi Black and the House of Black and his identity and what he did to Edge with the wedding ring and all that stuff. And then in regards to it still connecting to WWE, from a comic book fan perspective, you always love that continuity and those backtrack references and certain things like that. So I think incorporating that is good. I kind of gives the intrigue. Are we going to actually see Gangrel show up too? Now, people can have their reservations about that. And I would certainly, from a long-term perspective, have maybe my reservations about maybe a spooky overall Edge or Adam Copeland moving forward, of what that could maybe mean. But it's kind of exciting, and it sets up things, I think, nicely for Double or Nothing in itself, just in the short term. Long term, I would be cautiously optimistic, but I don't know. I really liked it. I think it helps establish both guys in a certain way for the match.
Well, we'll talk about it tomorrow when we do our preview of Double or Nothing.
Yeah.
But in terms of the show, it's just you're using like the greatest hits from someplace else, and that has not been the Adam Copeland character in AEW. Yeah. Mariah May and Toni Storm beat Harley Cameron and Saraya. You were right. Saraya just appeared, and now she's accompanied by her brother, who has a cane.
Oh my.
What?
Very strange.
It was strange. Match was fine. They tried to they try to use this shocking thing of like, oh, they kissed each other. It's 2024. Is that really shocking? Is that really like, oh my God, I can't believe we just saw this. Now I got to tune in and watch. Like, that stuff worked in the Attitude Era. And when it stopped working was around like 2003, when it was just shameless bad ratings ploys.
Right.
It doesn't really enhance much. It doesn't make it very exciting. And it's weird that it's literally two teams that are both predicated on like thinly veiled lesbian couples.
Very strange.
And when that's all your storylines are for the women's division, it doesn't feel that great. It doesn't feel that progressive. It doesn't feel that interesting.
Not a good look either. It's you know what? The ending after when Serena Deeb showed up, Serena Deeb was getting booed.
Yes,
people don't want to see Toni Storm get stifled in her persona and stuff like that.
Well, also Serena Deeb, not the most interesting or exciting party that they have there. She made a chair boring, which takes a lot of skill.
I like the chair shot she gave to Luther.
The main event. Oh,
but go ahead.
Well, you just hate other bald men. You're a self-hating baldist.
I am. That's why I align with the gangsters and not the baldies.
There you go. See, it all ties together, guys. Yesterday on this program, you revealed to me what the main event of this show was going to be.
Yes.
I was unaware. My initial reaction was a bit perplexed, bit stern, bit stiff. I have now watched Satnam Singh versus Bryan Danielson. And you know what I realized, Dom?
What?
I did not react strong enough. This was so much worse than I even thought it was going to be, that I just felt so bad for Bryan Danielson. knowing how much this man has worked to overcome the neck injuries, the brain injuries, the decades of abuse to his body. Satnam Singh is very tall, and he is not very good. He is slow and clumsy, and you can see Brian like holding his hand, walking him through this match. The match was laid out very, very well.
Yes.
Brian tried to do everything he could. He did not anticipate the fact that Satnam Singh wrestles like he is covered in caramel and is just slowly being sunk into the ground. And it's unfortunate that like this is what we're doing. Now, the storyline of the Bucks were paying for a bounty hunter thing on it, and we talked about this yesterday. Set it up on the show.
Yeah.
Scott Chaplin said they talked about this to some extent on Collision. No one watched Collision.
Unfortunately, no.
Vince McMahon always assumed his audience was dumb, and you always have to remind them. We used to have to put story notes on the top of Michael Cole, like on their run sheets, to remind people that this is the longest running action adventure, sports and entertainment, dramatic, whatever, like everything possible every single week. You always had to remind them of Big Show's ring size and his shoe size 8, 9, 10 weeks in a row. You have to assume your audience is not watching everything and that your audience is dumb. And that if you have the Bucks, even in an iota of being heelish, open up this challenge and then it be answered by Satnam saying, ooh, there's a big moment. Mm-hmm. Fine. Give them the heat on air instead of the we're barring Darby from the building heat. Could have done both at the same time. The match was what it was. Brian is still alive, so we're thankful for that. And then after the match was over, Brian got beat down by Satnam Singh, by Jay Lethal, by that dastardly, horrible, no good, very bad Jeff Jarrett.
Dang it, Jeff.
Then he got beat down by the Young Bucks. Then he got beat down by Kazuchika Okada and Jack Perry. And then finally gets rescued by Darby Allin with a flamethrower.
You're forgetting Tony Khan, Robert.
What are you talking about?
He was the Wheelman.
Oh, sorry. He was the Wheelman.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he called the Wheelman. Okay, fine. Yes, Tony Khan was the Wheelman, but Darby Allin had a flamethrower. That's all I remembered. This felt like, look, I'm so glad Vince McMahon did not realize back in my day that you could use a flamethrower.
Flamethrower? What's that?
God damn. That's heat.
That's really
you have now introduced this weapon that they are 100% are going to try to use at Anarchy in the Arena. It's Chekhov's flamethrower.
It's gotta be.
It's gotta be. It's insane. It's a cool visual. It's a cool moment. We'll see. Again, felt super sports entertainment-y. If he used it, it would have been like Hank Scorpio.
Yes.
But, it is what it is. I am curious, though. What was the big news story that you were going to talk about that broke while we were...
Well, before I get to that, let me say how much I enjoyed this final segment and match. I liked it a lot. And I know the only thing I didn't like was that vertical suplex that Satnam gave to Danielson, because that looked very dangerous and very unsafe. Otherwise, I loved it. Really, I love the schmoz of it. I love the if you're able to kind of suspend the disbelief of, hey, this does not make any sense, and why is this really even happening? I like the David Goliath vibe. I think Danielson fits well in that role. I like all the elements that he had to be concerned with, from all the people in the ring to Jeff Jarrett's guitar to Satnam's strength. I liked it. And then I really liked the visual of the flamethrower, Danielson with Darby. Fun. I think it was a lot of fun. And I think it really was a good exclamation point heading into Double or Nothing. So I really liked the ending, Robert. I know that's going to sound weird, but I dug it, man.
God bless.
It's not kayfabe. This is the shoot. That's a shoot, brother.
You know what? More flamethrowers in wrestling.
That's it. Give me the flamethrowers. I want them. Okay.
We got 3 minutes left, dude. I didn't realize how long that went, but we really got into the weeds.
We did. We got
which is cool. It's fine. Hey, that's the beauty of the show, man. You never know where it's gonna go. Usually we're moving fast paced. Sorry, Billy in the CW, we got to bump you to tomorrow. But what's the story that broke while I'm waiting with bated breath?
Yes, WWE is appearing to make a make good when it comes to what city is hosting big events for them. They announced that SummerSlam will be hosted in Minneapolis. 2026 SummerSlam.
2026 SummerSlam.
2026 SummerSlam. And Robert, it's not just one night, it's 2 nights. 2 nights of SummerSlam happening. So
two nights in Minnesota.
Jesse Ventura is coming back, right? It's got to happen now.
Oh, 100%. If he's still alive in 2026, like maybe that's part of like they're hedging their bets. Like, let's announce this, but we don't think Jesse will be around by 26.
Is he a Hall of Famer, by the way?
Yes, Jesse's in the Hall of Fame.
Okay,
didn't he? Yeah, because he came back. He was the referee at SummerSlam. I'm sure Jesse's a Hall of Famer.
I'm Googling right now. Let's see.
Did they not announce for SummerSlam 25? It's weird that they moved it to SummerSlam 26. But good news, Minnesota. Because look, when you think summer and you think the beach and you think tropical environment, first thing you think of is Minneapolis.
Bring it on.
No, don't. It's whatever. It's good for them. It's good for business because it was a very public humiliation for Minnesota that they were bidding for Mania. They thought they were going to get Mania 25, and they did not. And it's going to Las Vegas, which is why we're going to Las Vegas. Because when I told my wife, "Hey, WrestleMania might be in Minneapolis," she's like, "Nope,
Nope.
Thanks, but no thanks." God bless all you Minnesotans. It's cold there.
It is, and so that's why I think SummerSlam's good because it won't be as cold.
It won't be as cold, and if it is cold, you know what they can use, Dom?
What can they use, Robert?
A flamethrower. Oh no, I wasn't setting up for any. We don't. Have
I thought it was going to be a Blue Chew thing.
We don't even have time to fit in our Blue Chew ad and give it the full thrust that it deserves.
Oh, hey now,
rumor. Yes. So you guys know and love the Blue Chew. We'll give them their read tomorrow. We got a couple of exciting new ads coming up for the show because this thing is growing, man. People are tuning in. They're digging it. They like what we do here every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern on a variety of platforms. But before I plug all that stuff, Dom, where else can the fine folks catch you and your ridiculous pro Satnam Singh opinions?
Oh, my gosh. You can catch all those opinions tonight on rvdtv.com, 9 p.m. Raw, Van Dam and I go live. So be sure to check that out. We'll have some fun stuff to talk about. On top of it, too, at 6:15 Eastern Standard Time p.m., go to the Four Horsemen Network, fourhorsemenetwork.com. Tune in live. Greg Gagne, Magnum TA. We're going to be live on there recording the next episode. So be on the lookout for that. I have something in line to talk about, a good topic, but we've been going off the beaten path with that show. So we might take a different direction. We'll see how it all goes. But guys, tune into that. Tune into rvdtv.com. Spread the word. And like Robert said, spread the word about this show. We're growing here. We have a great community going on here. A lot of fun people interacting with us. So, Robert, but you mentioned it, Working Stiff. We just recorded that episode.
We just recorded it. It'll go up. Let's say, Don, put it up today.
I can do that.
Yeah, let's make it happen today. Give people a little bit of an extra chance to hear all of us. You get to hear Dan plugging his comedy specials and his dates, which is always fun. But Working Stiff. It's professional comedians talking professional wrestling. It's a damn good time, and this is a damn good time every Monday through Friday at noon Eastern. You can catch us on a variety of platforms, including the WWE Creative _ISH X account, the Dominic D'Angelo X account, the SC Scoops X account, the Podcast Heat X account. Podcast Heat is who makes this show possible. The Working Stiff X account, as well as on YouTube on ad-free shows, Working Stiff and Rumor and Innuendo. We will be back tomorrow with our huge Friday show. We're going to be previewing King and Queen of the Ring. We're going to be previewing Double or Nothing, and maybe talk a little Billy and the CW. But until then, on behalf of the cursed Knicks hat wearing Dominic D'Angelo, I'm Robert Karpolis. Best of luck in your future endeavors.
Let's shoot some hoops, Satnam.